Smooth 98.1 here. We are gone past 6:30 on a Tuesday morning. It is time for Business Express.
That's right.
Nairametrics version of Business Express, because they're sponsoring us today. And joining us, actually, we have got a macroeconomics analyst from Nairametrics, Samuel Oyekomi. Good morning, Samuel. How are you?
Morning, Sope. Good morning. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, great to have you on again. All right, so people, if you're listening in and you want to join the conversation, all you need to do is send your WhatsApp messages in to 0809 444 981 or tweet at us. We are at Smooth981FM on Twitter. You can tag us and tag at Nairametrics as well in your tweet so that we all get the same information and are on the same page. And if you are viewing this up on youtube.com/Smooth981FM Lagos, then just leave your comments on the live stream and we'll read it out as well. Okay, there you have it. Different platforms that you can join the conversation on. And what a conversation is going to be, Samuel, because today, Pepple.
Of course, we're discussing Nigeria's inflation and how it surges to 17-year high of 19.64% in July 2022. This is this is the highest since September 2005. So we'll get straight into the conversation, Samuel. What do you make of these latest inflation figures?
Our inflation figure yesterday, I was talking to some of my colleagues and we were trying to predict where the number was if it was going to go up, if it was going to come down. That's before the MBS released. And we kind of just put quite a number of things into perspective. And one of those things that kind of that was like a spotlight was the fact that we had a lot of exchange rate problem recently. And of course, you're in Nigeria, even if you want to buy tomatoes and price goes up, you ask the person, they'll tell you,
dollar.
They are not buying anything that is related to dollar. So exchange rate really is a major problem in Nigeria. And in that month, we had about exchange rate in the parallel market going as high as over 700 naira. That's like the highest ever on record. And that was really instrumental to the exchange rate uptick that we saw yesterday. And then if you look at the numbers very well, you see that the factors that actually contributed to the increase were stuff like air transportation, clothing, and whatnot. Those items are actually things that are exposed to exchange rate because airlines have to also do things that has to do with dollars. Clothing, we import most of these fabrics from other countries. And of course, we have high inflation in most of the developed economies right now. So we have a huge imported inflation also, despite the fact that we have our own structural problems here. We have bad roads, we have bad links, we have insecurity problems. All those are still underlying. And then now we're now coupled with imported inflation caused by the Russia-Ukraine war, the fallout from the COVID-19. CBN had to pump a lot of money into the economy. Money supply grew significantly from like 35 trillion to about 48 trillion in that period. Currency in circulation also rose over 3 trillion in that period. So that's really quite massive, really. And that's what we are seeing play out right now.
Wow, what a lot of triggers. But okay. Now, one thing that I want to know, because there's been a lot of debates, about this basket of things that they use to calculate the inflation. So what's your take on this, about the accuracy of these figures and rejigging of the inflation basket?
So ideally, the NBS is supposed to actually restructure this basket every 5 years. But unfortunately, this has not been done. The last time it was done was 2009. Yeah, so
that's a long time.
So it means we've gone we are due for at least a third review of that basket, because of course the demography has actually changed. The number of the population size has changed. What our interests had changed. We have a whole lot of young generations now, right? And some interests would have changed. Right now, the last data we have from the MBS, I think from 2019, was that Nigerians spend over 56% of their household expenditure on food items. That could probably have changed by now, right? It could probably have increased.
In fact, I saw a report last week. It said in the first 6 months of this year, Nigerians do not save, a portion of their salaries again because of transportation, feeding, school fees, and all those other things.
Exactly. Let's not even talk about rent, man. Rent is supposed to be 30% of your annual income, right? And that's not happening.
Honestly, that's the reality. There's no disposable income anymore in Nigeria. Everybody just want to feed.
Exactly.
want
In fact, it just takes me to the next question for you. These figures that we're seeing, 19.64% in July, disposable income for the average Nigerian. Let's talk about it.
like I said, Nigerians all just think about feeding right now and nothing more about saving or
So we're not even saving again.
everything. That's like the reality of things right now. I was talking to someone yesterday at the office, and she was telling me about someone who is helping a family of one that has one kid and has they don't have money, so he's always giving them monthly fee. And then he got a text message that, oh, they are pregnant with another baby, and the guy just almost ran mad, like, what the heck? So he just tells you that, and I was telling her that, well, their problem is just feeding. And really, they are not thinking about any other thing. And as far as they have food on their table, all they just have to do is just keep making babies. Nigerians right now, because of the amount of inflation that we have, eroding of our purchasing power, everybody just want to eat and have shelter. If you have those two, it just appears that there's no more, there's nothing more, and it's really it's terrible. It's not good.
Now, what do these figures mean for investment returns in Nigeria at this point? She asked in a very sad voice because she fears she knows the answer.
Okay, really, the investment environment right now is not really big. It's not so palatable. And then even the Nigerian stock market that did well in the first half of the year appears to be moving downwards now. It's like it's just retrogressing. Right? Yeah,
I was reading the news with just alarm as it kept retreating back to where it was.
Yeah, it was expected, actually. Analysts had already predicted that we are going to start seeing that. And the fact that the CBN has also raised interest rate by about 250 basis points, that's also going to tell on people, because you don't have access to credit as much. If the stock market so far is recording a 16% year-to-date returns, and then your inflation is over 19%, it tells you that you have a negative returns of 3%. Basically, what it's telling you is that even when you are investing, you are losing money. If you talk about even the federal government bonds are supposed to be safe haven bonds, the real returns is actually massive. When you talk about treasury bill at 7%, the highest is 7% as of July, and then compared to this, you are probably getting a 12% decline, negative return. Talking about federal government bonds, highest at 13%, you're getting like 6% negative returns. They're really not palatable right now. And you probably just more or less just say, let's just put the money there, right? So that I don't spend it on something else. That's basically what we're doing right now.
At the next MPC meeting, do you think they're going to increase the interest rates again? Or, I mean, with all of the things happening, we might see a reduction?
That's a dicey question. I would not think so. I would not think so, because 14% is like the highest rate that it appears like a cap for us, right? And then don't forget that interest rate also affects the economy. The issue about our inflation in Nigeria is that, is it a monetary problem or a structural problem? So the fact that you are raising interest rate is supposed to affect to help demand, right? So that there's reduction in demand. But right now, the problem in Nigeria is not because there's so much increase in demand. The problem is that there's no supply. We cannot meet domestic we cannot meet our demands domestically, and that is why we have to import. And import opens us more to the FX crisis, opens us more to the developed climes who are also experiencing 41-year inflation high. And that's just a problem. So if we are able to, one way, reduce our importation by increasing production in Nigeria, we'll probably have a better story. But increasing interest rate might not necessarily have a significant effect on inflation rate, although I expect inflation to start moderating now towards the end of the year, because of course it's a year-on-year comparison.
All right, let's get some more participants in this conversation. We've got messages up on WhatsApp from Benga Akamu, who says food prices are high, but more importantly, what is the government doing about it? Because it seems like we're all on our own. This is when we should see policies to address the situation. Institutions like the World Bank already warning of a food crisis at our door. Yes, they said August was the month for it, right?
Yeah.
I remember that. All right, so Samuel, you heard Benga's questions. What say you?
So the current administration, right, has had paid so much attention on agriculture, believing that agriculture is like the solution to our problem. And maybe the government is not wrong. Maybe it's just implementation. If you remember, food inflation crisis actually started on a larger scale in 2019 when the federal government closed the land borders. And hence, we saw a significant, huge movement in inflation numbers, specifically food inflation, right? And then COVID came also, supply chain crisis came in. Really, I think as much as we want to throw shades to, I don't think we should dwell so much, right, anymore on agriculture or that anymore. I don't think that's going to solve our problem. I think we need to start also encouraging. I just feel we need to make sure that private organizations, the private sector, do more in this area and stop and allowing. We should stop this government taking hold of everything. I think there's a lot of corrupt practices around when it comes to civil service and how government do things. We should allow private sector to do that while the government make sure that the structure and infrastructure is well in place so that whatever those guys are doing in private sector works.
Let's just run through with some of the messages that have come in. Very, apt submission there. Ogenochukwu on WhatsApp is saying we must consume what we produce. Locally produced product should be subsidized by the government.
And Gilbert Musa from Festac says the new inflation rate is not surprising as such. The reason, since 2008, 2009, the purchasing power of the average Nigerian has declined until date.
Yinka Bolu is in with this one. Strange how economists, analysts, and those in that WhatsApp group tells us that Nigerians don't save again. I'm like, how do these guys have access to the bank statements that I don't know about? Well, last Rwanda said Nigerians are not eating much again. I'm like, how now? I'm having issues with my kids. There are 12 of them, 5 and 7. Finishing 800 naira bread in a day. Are they not Nigerians? We see what you did there, Yinka Bolu.
As Zikolo says, we should expect food crises. What about the one already savaging the land? If you know the extent of hunger in the land, we will all pray that it should be worse.
It shouldn't be worse. Maybe it is worse. That's what he's saying.
It is worse. Okay. Yeah.
Well, I don't think, like he said, people are experiencing hunger in the land. It's not the same with Yinka Bolu's 5 and 7-year-olds.
And this one in from Ogenochukwu once again saying, we spend a lot on health and education, which has put pressure a lot on the currency. Okay, and we'll take this final one in from Benga, who says, in all of this, do we have a surge of Nigerians going for summer, apart from those on the Jackpot train?
Yeah, there are some people who still are going for summer. They have the money and they have the time for it. Well, we have to go, but I wish we could touch on something I saw Cross River State Governor. He made new appointments, about 35 new appointments as senior special assistants. And what caught my attention, there were several roles there. Food storage, essay on food storage, essay on dry season farming, essay on agriculture, senior essay on agriculture, yam export, and all of that.
Oh, wish we could dwell more on it, but what we can do is actually give you a little thank you special advice from Smooth 98.1 and Nairametrics. I love that little synergy. So all you need to do, follow Nairametrics across all social media platforms, right? At Nairametrics, and subscribe to their premium Stock Select newsletter. It's a weekly stock guide that's written personally by Ugodre, and this is on both local and international best performing stocks in order to guide we the investors on what to buy, sell, and what to hold. So we here at Your Love Music, Love Life Station are offering a 30% discount to all subscribers from Business Express, and all you need to do is visit ss.nairametrics.com/coupon and enter the promo code SmoothFM to get the discount. And if you would like the link to this, all you need to do is send us a WhatsApp message on 0809 440 981. Samuel, it's been a blast having you on the show. We have to let you go now though, but we'll have you back on another Tuesday. All right, so Samuel Oyekomi is a macroeconomics analyst with Nairametrics and an all-around good guy on the show on Business Express. Can't wait to have him back. But for today, it is goodbye, sayonara, and have a